Alright, last time we did this, we just set up the camera to film, and we did the exhibit, which was right over there in the shoe repair shop. Did pretty well on shorts, to like convert it into shorts and such, but I still want it to be a decent full-length video, and part of the issue that we had last time was that it was vertical and then we had to extend out the sides and it just didn't quite look right. So now it's a little bit more like this. But this time I'm by myself and I don't have my microphone with me, so the audio is not going to be quite as nice. I'll do my best in post, but because I am by myself, I have some of it already pre-planned as to what we're going to do today. So the biggest thing is that this area has been pretty much the same for quite a while, and there's not much that we can do with physically moving anything. I brought this in right at the start, but I think we have to do a little bit more. So we're going to start with what I think was the initial thing that made the other side feel so homey, feel natural, feel real, was the rug. And we have more rugs. We have rugs everywhere, and they're just in the wrong place. So I picked out a rug, and I think it'll work well. You won't be able to see it on camera right now, but you will at the end. So this rug was in the Hall of Fame room on the ground, kind of in the way. And the reason I say in the way is because it's really easy to trip on these old rugs. They don't stick to the ground very well, they ride up really easily. So it's really, really easy for you to just trip on them, which I found out the hard way a few times. Anyway, the next thing would be a chair. Now we've got a couple different options for chairs. We've got the classic, the green chair, literally what it's titled. And then we have a pivoting old office chair. It doesn't have any wheels on it like a modern office chair does. And actually, I think we're going to end up using both, because most of the time a post office wasn't run by a single person. But that means that we're gonna have one right here, which is down a little bit lower than the camera can see, which we might end up having to move the camera down to see a bit more down here. And then the other one over here, where kind of Ben's standing, they can operate this piece of machinery here that's also off camera. So I'm gonna move the camera real quick, and then we'll continue with getting these situated. It's a bit of a better angle to being able to see what we're doing here, but we do have this in the corner. I can't change it. I'm having to use an exhibit holder to hold my cell phone to be able to film this. So you can kind of see the rug down here, and I already brought this in. This was used to hold coal and charcoal for a fire. All right, and then I also brought this. So this was in the office for the longest time. This is the International Atlas of the World and the complete 1930 census. So I figured it made the most sense to have it right in here. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna put this back up here where the camera used to be. I had to move a few things to put the camera there. We're gonna start with one chair here, and I'm trying to decide between the green chair, which is very classic. We've used the green chair in multiple different exhibits, and then it's been moved and replaced with chairs that fit a little bit better, that blend in a little bit more, that aren't bright green. But I think the green chair will work in here, but I'm thinking it might work better. I think it will work better here, and then the pivoting chair there. And the reason why I'm thinking that is that a regular chair sitting right here, I'll just show you. I'm gonna grab the chair real quick, right over here. It's okay, I just dropped an umbrella, that's all. Okay. So, this is green chair. It literally just says green chair on it. So sitting here with just a regular moving chair, non-moving chair, regular wooden chair, I can work here. I can stand up really quickly to talk to people through the window here. But then I can also turn and work here fairly easily. I can use the scale. I can do other things. There's not much to do over here. I brought in some like odds and ends stuff that like we normally put in exhibits to flesh them out. And I just grabbed some random stuff. I think let me grab the clock. Yeah. So I mean with postage, time is extremely important. I think that can go right there. And then right, we need informed lighting. So I'm just gonna sit here so I can talk to the camera easier. Informed lighting is, especially in exhibit or in movies and such like that, it's where sometimes you have light coming into a scene that doesn't have an explanation as to why it's there. So you put something there that looks like it's bringing in that light. It's like, let's say you have a light on your actor in a movie that's coming in from the side, and it's a red light. So you decide in your set to put a red neon light next to your actor. Now that neon light isn't going to be putting as much red light as, let's say, an off-camera big red gelled light, but it informs it, so it makes more sense. We have light coming in through the window, which makes sense. They would have a window. But we also have light coming over from the shoe repair shop of the lamp that we put there. So I think we need did I grab a kerosene lamp? I think I did. Yes, I did. Okay. So this is the kerosene lantern brought in by Connie Johnson. And we put it there because the light's coming from over there generally. Oh, sit back down so I can actually see. The light's coming from over here generally, and I don't want to like hang it up on anything. I want it a fair distance away from all the paper because obviously there's a fire inside. You don't want fire in your paper. That's just common sense. Okay, speaking of common sense, I already have a hat here. I'm probably going to replace this hat with something else. This is the 9th annual Old Settlers Picnic from here in Alexander. This is Spike's week. Spike Meets Day, Saturday, September 11th, 1954. The day of Old Settlers has since changed for obvious reasons. Anyway, this is probably going to end up in Boy Scout building because we're going to be moving a lot of our Old Settlers stuff down there, where it's more of a local history thing. But for now, it's a hat to sit here for visual interest. I'll find another hat later on. But if I'm coming into work, probably going to take off my jacket, take anything that I might have with me. I think, did I grab that jacket from upstairs? Yes. So, here at the Lewis and Clark Trail Museum, we don't have much for men's clothing, surprisingly enough. We have a lot of military uniforms, but that doesn't work in every exhibit. This is one of the few that we do have. This is a smoking jacket. It belonged to Ole Allison. It's a really nice smoking jacket. So smoking jackets tend to be classified based off of the shawl lapel. And then you also have distinctive clasp type buttons. So as opposed to buttons like a shirt like this or a modern day jacket, it would be a piece of string and then a tassel that would come in and hook around and hook into it, which is more what you would see on like an older piece of clothing. That's more typical of a smoking jacket. And then the cuffs on the ends of the sleeves that were cuffed over. And then they were more typically worn in the evening, not really worn out of the house. But it is one of the only male jackets that we do have here in the museum. I'm draping it over the chair because, I mean, that's where you would normally put a jacket. We also brought an umbrella from upstairs. This is a really nice umbrella. I could not find the tag on it as to where it was from. but it is a very, very nice umbrella. It has a curved handle, but it's more of a 90-degree curve as opposed to a typical full curve that you would see in a normal umbrella. But it's extremely sturdy looking. It has a nice full umbrella cover, so this would be pulled off before you would open your umbrella. I personally own one fairly similar to this, and they are very, very nice. I use my antique umbrella. I use it fairly often, simply because it works really, really well. It's well built. They really knew what they were doing when they were making these umbrellas. So, okay, I grabbed this. And the reason I grabbed this is because for postage, you have to weigh stuff, which we already have a scale in here for, but you also have to measure it. You have to make sure it's like the right measurements and charge the right amount for that size. So I'm going to actually put that in here with this. And I know technically this would be full of coal, but it makes more sense visually to put it in something. That's why almost all the time when you see somebody in a movie or something like that putting a cane or an umbrella somewhere, they put it in some kind of basket that has other things like that because it holds it better and it's more visually interesting, like it actually belongs there, as opposed to just sitting down and setting your umbrella and leaning it up against the desk. It doesn't really belong there, it's in the way, whatever. And even though that's not a conscious thing that you're going to notice when you're looking at an exhibit, it is something that can throw people off or make it feel a little bit less than natural. Not necessarily unnatural, but less than natural. And what we're going for is something that feels very natural. I'm going to bring in this second chair here. I think it's going to go right here. So this one does swivel around. And the reason why, well, I guess did swivel around, it no longer really does, because it's a little bit old. You can't see it, can you? Okay, well, I'll move the camera in just a second. But the reason I want the swiveling chair there is because the entrance is right behind it. You know what, I'll switch the camera angle so you can see what I'm talking about. So this is the swiveling chair here. And you can see the desk is right in front here. And then this is the entrance to the post office area. So if I close this, if I'm coming into work and I'm supposed to sit in this chair, first and foremost, I move it to where this can actually swing. There we go. So if I were to be working in this chair, I need to be able to come in from this side, sit down, and move to be able to work here at the desk. But also, I need to remember the fact that there's another person that needs to get in by me. So, by having the swivel chair here, I can still move past this fairly easily.
Alright, so I'm out of storage on my phone for recording any of this. But I'll add in some finished photos as to what it looks like. And I'll see if I can find a picture of what it used to look like, because I forgot to take a before and after picture. Again, just like I did with the shoe repair shop, where I forgot to take a before picture and I had to find one from the old tour video. So, let's see how it turns out, because I'm not even done yet. I have enough storage to do a video walkthrough of the final product. So, we're going to do that, and we're going to explain exactly why I did certain things, at least fairly briefly, because I don't want to run out of storage again. First off, I moved the flag that was over, actually it was over here, over there. I'm going to set this second glove down. Then I made this one, I added in a woman's hat and a pair of gloves, because looking at this, over half the staff was females, so I wanted to make sure that that was included in the exhibit. We added some coffee and a flask with a leather case.
Flasks weren't always used to hold alcohol. That's a common misconception. They could be used to hold all sorts of different things. Wow, I'm having a hard time speaking. Then, of course, there's this, the typewriter. Now, one thing that was pointed out to me at one point was, why would you use aged paper if it's supposed to look like they're in the process of working on stuff? And the reason for using aged papers, because this is paper that I aged, is continuity. So what I mean by that is everything else in here looks old. All of the paper is old. Okay, I'm just about out of storage, so I'm going to speed this up. Basically, if the piece of paper is brand new, everything else is old, it looks out of place. That's about all that I've changed since the last time you saw it. So this is the after, and I'll show a quick video of the before and show it one last time.